Boy, I tell you what, every time we do those intros, people just they say, "Man, you got some real superstars on your show." And I say, "Absolutely, we got." Last week we had Kelly Roach on. I know Michelle,
Yeah.
you enjoyed her. She was outstanding, and I know you're going to be just as good, if not better. And I wanted to tell everybody that the exciting news we've got an extra live this week. It's on Thursday. Really, it's a webinar, but we're going to stream it live as well. And we have the Oz of indexing. Alan Grisman is going to be on with, again, we're going to have the panel with Jim and Joe Clark and myself talking about the different things that everybody was excited about last time. But the Oz of indexing is a guy that does some stuff with America and some other. He is the guy behind the curtain that helps us figure out what kind of indexing is the best way to go. And he's got a brand new product that he's going to unleash on Thursday. So that's going to be exciting. And then next Tuesday, Heather's going to be back with her team. And I hope I don't mess it up. I think it's the Swazi, something like that. But we'll fix it when the big advertisement comes out. But she's going to be back next Tuesday, and she's going to be unloading and telling people a lot of great things about how the different marketing tools that she's using with AI is working, and give them an opportunity as well. So that's going to be a fun week next week. And I got a big surprise next week. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag for just a little tiny bit, Michelle, but we're going to be putting together a 4-person summit. We're going to do 2 of them. One of them I already asked you to be on. That's going to be more of a promotional and a product summit, right? And then we're going to do another one with some pretty big names. And so that'll be announced next week. So we're going to be doing more webinars, more podcasts, having more exciting guests. One real exciting guest, you love him to death because he's your little brother, and that would be Don Graves. And he's going to be coming on talking about reverse mortgages and how to use the strategies to help you find additional monies for your business. He's going to be coming on at the end of May. So I know you're excited about that. You put us together. He is a wonderful human being, and you dearly call him your little brother. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. You guys are wonderful people. And like I said, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to let you loose. And you've had me on your show twice. You have
yes.
And, we have a lot of fun, do we not?
Yes, we did.
We have a lot of fun.
It was a blast. It was great.
So tonight, I'm going to tell us a little bit about, and I was really excited because I know a lot of people, I haven't been selling since 2009, and I run an agency, but I always hear people a lot of times talking about long-term care, and a lot of people are a little bit, I don't want to say ignorant about it, but I don't think a lot of people know that product is still very valuable and very much needed. And you're going to tell us tonight why not only is the IUL not the only answer, but the fact that maybe we should start getting back to selling long-term care. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you go, and then I'm going to ask you some questions as we go. And so you're on your own. Have at it.
Okay, well, the first thing I want to introduce myself to everyone that's a part of this seminar today. My name's Michelle Graves. I have been known as the Money Lady for over 40 years. I'm 72 years old. I've been in the industry since 1982. Exactly. And that's a long time. I've seen a lot. I've gone through and observed and learned and been mentored. And again, what a great way to make a living. And for those of you that are women, what a great time to be a female in the financial services industry. Absolutely wonderful. So I wanted to just let you know in terms of my background that I do Medicare, I do Medicaid, I do life insurance, I do anything having to deal with people that are preparing for retirement and growing older. And I have learned a lot through this whole journey in terms of what is needed and where people are today. Never at any time in history in this country have we seen so many people confused. Is that you? And it's okay if you say it is, because it's me. There's just a lot going on out here. And I'm telling you that this old lady I was like, wow, what now? Yeah. So why am I focusing on long-term care? Because long-term care and reverse mortgages are the only options, Bill, that are going to be available for people to tap into money to pay for their situation. Here's the deal, and that is, what are we facing in America today? The good is that people are living longer. The bad is that people are living longer. So all of these programs and products were put into place, not expecting people to be around as centenarians. The fastest growing group in America are centenarians. That's people over 100. Over 100. Whoa. And I'm soon to be one of them if I keep living. But there's nothing worse than living longer if you're not healthy. And again, this is everybody. And the statistics are very, very, very painful, which is that so many people not only are living longer, but their health is poor. They don't have support systems in place to take care of them. Maybe you're one of the few that's able to afford to take care of your parents. But I will tell you, that's a financial burden that you really probably are not prepared for. Now,
Michelle, real quick, because I know the audience may not know this, but me and you both take care of our mamas.
Listen, my mother is in a memory care facility that charges $12,000 a month. Okay? Now, I don't care who you are, the math is not going to work. If you do not have something in place that is measurable, tangible, nursing homes don't accept promises. They want a check. If you are staying at home and trying to take care of parents, well, good luck with that, because the reality is that you're going to find you may have bit off more than you can choose, especially when it comes to Alzheimer and cognitive impairment. I am passionate about this. I'm not backing up about this. I started doing long-term care 12 years ago, and it was a hot mess. Why? Because nobody, no baby boomer I know, ever thought they would be in a situation where someone was having to change their diapers, or they were dealing with the after effects of COVID. Remember the 2 million people that died? There's 4 million others that did not die, but are now living with complications. And we don't know how that plays out. We don't know what it looks like, but this is the reality. Who could have thought that pre-COVID? Who? And again, I'm going to ask everyone that's listening in, and it's a very relevant question. Do you have long-term care for yourself? You're in the industry. Do you have something to take care of yourself? And do you understand what is involved? And before you flip it off and say, not me. Oh, yes, because the body is not like a car. And I tell people all the time, if your alternator goes bad, you get another alternator. You buy it, put it in, boom. If you have complications from diabetes or heart or liver, or all the things that happen to a body that is getting older, then please do not talk to me about it's not relevant. I need to know if you have taken the steps to get coverage and care for yourself, starting with you. Have you left a legacy of love
Michelle,
for your
go ahead,
family?
finish that. One of the things that you're hitting on.
No, I'm just saying.
No. That's one of the things we talked about, in the green room a little bit, was how many people that this affects: your spouse, your widow, your adult children, all these people. But here's the thing that I tell people, and you get this a lot, I'm sure, and they say, well, I don't need it, or I don't want, or I can't afford it, or it's never going to affect me. And when they say this never going to affect me, I love that, because then I say, good, then you'll be a perfect person for the ROI, right? Return of premium, ROP, whatever it is, return of investment. But so I like those because, like I said, when I had bought my disability plan, I put that on there because if I hadn't used it, then I would get $90,000 back. So I tell people
Right.
there's ways to treat that as a retirement if you need to, so to speak. But if you're one of those people, and I think you got a bunch of statistics coming up, but I know one of the statistics that I like is that people that have it very seldom use it. People who don't have it need it. So what does that tell you? It gives you peace of mind. Yes.
Right. And I think that's interesting that you bring that up, because I will tell you candidly, I offered long-term care to my parents 12 years ago. My mother's brilliant. She's an accountant. She was over IRS audit. She worked for my corporation for 18 years, and our accounting and books were pristine. The woman is a bad woman. But when it came to her thinking that anything was going to happen to her or her husband, well, that was a different conversation. They said the premiums are too high. I said $300 a month? Oh, that's just too much money for us just to not use it. Well, folks, in her case, in her state of mind, she asked me, she said, Michelle, why didn't you make me buy long-term care? And I said to her, because you didn't want it. And I wasn't going to push you. Now, I will tell all of you here right now that what I should have done and what I'm going to recommend that you all do, if your parents can't afford the premiums, and it depends on what plan you have and the pricing, that whether you're doing a short-term plan or a full plan or a hybrid, pay it yourself.
Because Michelle, it's either pay now or pay later.
You do it.
Yeah.
You write the checks.
Yeah.
You do it, because the government is not going to provide you a solution to your parents. That's not going to happen.
And don't think that they will not take your money from you to the point. And people say, well, they have every right to, because they're going to be paying for you for Medicare, Medicaid. Wait. If you've earned that $1 million, why is it their right to come in and wipe it out? Right. And you hit on something earlier that I don't think a lot of people gather. And I think that this is where they get confused. What's the old thing? $100 a day. That's if you don't need specialized care.
That is, I don't even know where that number came from.
Oh my goodness. I tell people, what happens if they have diabetes? What happens if they have memory issues like your mama? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. But remember, this is what we talked about in the green room. This ties into me telling people to buy life insurance on their mom and dad, right?
You might as well. But let me share something with you. I was just cranking numbers earlier today, and it got deeper and deeper. And we pay, you may buy a policy for yourself, $100,000. Well, I got news for you. Long-term care in a facility is more than that for 1 year.
My mom broke her hip, and she was in for 6 months. $77,000
gone. So what is the answer? Well, as I tell people, you got to know that the government is not the the government is not the answer. Medicaid is not the answer. And yet I just left the nursing home today, settling up on accounts. And I asked the administrator, how many people are in this place? She said 181. I said, how many of the people are private pay? She said 5. I said, how many are paying through long-term care? She said 5 max. That's 10 out of a population of over 108. I said, what about the rest of them? She said, well, they didn't come in here broke.
They broke now.
They broke now. They're on Medicaid. Because my complaint.
No, we're not making fun of that.
No,
we're making this real. We got to make this real.
I just left there today and asked her, because she is their administrator handling the. And I said, I would like to know this, because I watched my parents, despite all the work I did on their behalf. And I'm smart. Okay, we're all smart if we're in the business. You cannot possibly think that you will have enough money to cover them without bankrupting them.
And Michelle, it is just like when you talk to young people about retirement. It's when you start. Don't wait till they're in their 60s, 70s. Because I get people all the time say, "Well, my mom and dad aren't healthy now." Well, no. Now maybe you might have to do a single premium annuity. Maybe you'll have to do something that'll have some benefits. But if you go early enough, you can have that all feathered around, and everything gets because it takes a lot of money to do that. Now the other thing is, some people want to stay at home. My mom wants to stay at home, and I'm trying my hardest.
I know you are.
To go with that promise that she doesn't have to go to home, but she knows. So we just made an apartment in the basement. That wasn't cheap. We had to put a shower in. We had to put a washer and dryer. We had to do all that stuff. And I said to her, I said, listen, this is the last stop. There's no other stop after this, Mom. This is it. If you can't survive here, I can't do this. I can't take care of you. We got somebody coming in twice a week. We got other people that come in that with what little money she has, we pay them. And of course, me and you, a lot of our money comes out of our own pocket, and that's okay. I'm fine. If I couldn't, I wouldn't, right? And so we do that. So, one of the things that I got to get Heather to do this. Make sure you're putting hashtag live, hashtag replay, and also put on there hashtag Michelle if you need some help with long-term care planning and stuff, because I know a lot of people, Michelle, and that's why you're here, aren't getting the proper training. They think IUL covers everything.
No,
it doesn't.
No. For starters, you have to be licensed to sell long-term care in Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, and Michigan, and just about everybody else. You're not going to glide into this. You have to be licensed, and then you have to take classes every 2 years for education, because things do change. For example, since everybody believes it's just going to pass away, the state of Washington now requires everyone 18 years old and older to have long-term care. That's the state of Washington. It's been in effect 1 year. There are 28 states right now that are reviewing this as well. Why? Because nobody wants to depend upon the thought processes of people as to whether they're going to be disabled, have cognitive issues, and the state's going to get stuck with the bill. And by the way, folks, the state is not going to get stuck with the bill, because if you have anything and you think you're going to be in a nursing home and your family's just going to skip to Duluth for the house, oh no, that's not going to happen. The state is going to move expeditiously to file claim and take any property that your parents, mother, father have. And again, their position is you should have taken out long-term care. And so I share with all new agents and people wanting to get into business, again, certification and training is a requirement. Secondly, look for people that are younger, 40, 50 years old. So that's young people have problems. They get into crashes. They have injuries. They're in the nursing home too, in case you have never been to one. It's everybody in there with all kinds of situations that never thought they were going to be there, and be there broke. It's bad enough being there.
If you think that the individual's broke, that what you just hit on the head was the government's broke. That's why they're going to force you to have long-term care. If it starts in one state, you think that's all it's going to go to? No. Now they make you buy health insurance. You got to buy car insurance. They don't want to take because they got to pay all their special interest friends. So they don't have time to take care of us anymore. So they're going to force us into a situation. And here's what I like about you. Let's say that there's, and I know that one of the reasons why you joined our group was because the networking, and because you told me the other day, it's really opened your eyes on some really cool stuff.
Listen, when I had you on my show, and you know I'm funny about television. And for those of you dialing in, you can watch all my episodes. We upload everything from the television station to YouTube of The Power of Money with Michelle Graves. You saw the intro. My point is that we can't know it all. This is a rule of thumb with life. You always grow. You always expand your thinking. You always network with people that you can learn from, and hopefully they can learn from you. Nobody has all of the answers. When I read that Babe Ruth Bucket book, and I said it on television, I said, I read that book 3 times and marked it up and just said, wow. Why? Because you were telling stuff that people did not know, particularly as it relates to stockbrokers and investment advisors and how they make their money. You know, I came off of Wall Street. I know how folks make their money, but they're not going to tell you because you're the chicken in the coop. That's how they look at it. And it's a shame. And the same thing holds true for long-term care. I am begging you to look at your situation. And if you are healthy, to go on and get a policy, not just your life insurance with the add-ons that they have. And I'm glad the newer ones do. But just be aware that those chronic illness riders can be taxable. Did you know that?
Yep.
When you exercise a 101G as in good, that allows them to charge taxes on that money that you have taken advantage of, and rightfully so, for your situation. That is not the case with a traditional or hybrid long-term care. Under 77.
Let me have you jump on this a little bit. A lot of people know the traditional side. They know the regular, and maybe they don't. But I want you to touch on the hybrid a little bit more, because I know in the green room we were talking about, I said, you got to get that out there, because, one of the things that's great about doing the networking, like we're talking about, like we're going to bring Aldo on in a couple of weeks, and he does special needs, planning. About him and how he's going to come on and talk about that. And people call him because they don't want to do it. So I want people to know, not only are you the expert at this, but let's say somebody doesn't want, I like to stay in my lane, but you have no problem picking up the phone and helping somebody. Say, I'll take it.
I never have.
They can get a finder's fee. They can get a finder's fee, whatever. But we're trying to help clients here. We're not, not necessarily. And I think that's what's great about your brother. He shows you how to use each other to find monies for each other, help each other and work. But let's talk about the hybrid a little bit and see if that helps a little bit with people that are thinking, what's she talking about, hybrid?
Well, a hybrid plan is I shouldn't say a new creation, because the company that birthed it, it was the only one for years. And basically, it's the only one that allows you to transfer IRA money into a long-term care contract. You can take a pot of money and you can move it into a hybrid. They call them hybrid because they offer the benefits of long-term care, but they also offer the benefits of cash value, and they also offer the benefits of a death benefit. Now, with your traditional plans, these are a pay-as-you-go. You pay every month, every quarter, every year. But if you don't ever use it, that's it. Literally, that is kind of like a term insurance policy. End of story. If you don't use it, that's it. With the hybrid, that is not the case. If you don't, or your spouse, depending upon how you have the contract set up, Bill, if you don't, it can go back as again, a death benefit to whomever you name. You can tap into the cash value. So it has some of the benefits of life insurance, but it also has tremendous benefits for long-term care. So you say to yourself, well, how's the underwriting? Well, I'm going to tell you something. It's a funny thing about insurance companies. If they have a pile of your money, they're going to be a little bit more considerate on these underwriting issues. Underwriting is a part of risk management. You all know that. That's the way it goes. But the key thing is being under a platform where you can leverage IRA money. Okay. And they're still the only ones that offer the IRA option. And they will also pay the RMD from that IRA. You know, at 73, you got to start doing distributions, and they will send you a 1099. They will deal with it. They'll pay the tax on that out of your contract. So I like it. I like it because, you know, it's one time and you're done.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Michelle. I want people, if you're interested in the hybrid, can you get them information if they put hashtag hybrid? Can we get them?
I can get them information. But please remember that this is a regulated business, which means that I cannot partner with you. I can't even talk to you about the plan because you're not licensed.
But so, they can refer business to you. Yes,
absolutely. Absolutely.
But now let's say somebody's listening and say, listen, I really like that. I mean, I don't carry license anymore, but if I was a licensed agent, I would say, listen, I can put my IRA in here. I need to know more about that. Because
yes, indeed.
A lot of people have IRAs. Now, is it just IRAs, or can it be 401k money? Can it be?
Oh my God, they will take. Yeah, the one carrier will in fact take other assets, and not an issue. But the sweet spot is everybody's tax sensitive today, and you should be, because I'm telling you, it's starting to get a little bit scary out here. But the ability to move those type of assets into an instrument where you will again get your benefits, cash value, death benefit, all that wrapped up in one. But what makes this particular carrier a sweet spot for me is the IRA money, because a lot of people have that.
You talked to him before you came on the show. We may have him on, because I think that would be very good. But here's the thing, that, because like I'm a big believer, and if you're in a certain lane, like, you know, I do coaching and training. That's my lane. And I do speaking. And so there might be somebody that just does annuities, but they like this idea. I would suggest that you do get certified. You do get licensed.
I do.
I mean, and still, even if you don't want to bring that into your thing, at least you have the ability to where if you help them, they can get a little commission on that. Now
they're going to get a commission. You do the work. Right. I'm a saleswoman. My specialty is financial services. Right. That's what I put 40 years into. But make no doubt about it, if you got the business, you should be paid. So anybody that sends me people, I'm going to press them to go on and sit for your training and your credentialing so that you can get paid, and so that you can have another part of your business. When you carry your bag around, it's like the old time doctors, and they carried their medicine bag, and they had all kinds of potions and stuff because they never knew what they were going to run into. And I have real issues with agents, particularly young ones, where you're not familiar. I tell them, you don't know about Medicare and you work with seniors. You don't know about Medicaid and you work with seniors. You don't know about reverse mortgages and you work with seniors and potential retirees. You have to, because that's what the industry is about. It's about
that's what's changed it in our era, right? And these young people today, they just want to make commission. They don't care what they do, and it's unfortunate, and that's why we have the Babe Ruth Bucket System for agents, because they're not, as well as I do, there's nobody giving this kind of training out.
Nobody's telling them the truth.
Maybe a handful, but they're not doing what we're doing, and we
no
to do the right thing. Yes,
no, the right thing.
Yeah.
People need to know. Like, I talked to a client and she had no idea. This is a major company. She couldn't figure out why her money that was in an IRA under their management, where after 18 years, she hadn't made a dime. And I reviewed her entire portfolio as a service to show her how she was paying out all this money in management fees and trades. And when I finished and I said to her, she said, "What does this cost me?" I said, "Nothing from my end." I said, "But you're going to have to make some decisions, because this has already cost you. This has already cost you."
Yep.
And that's what I love about what you're doing, Bill, is because you are empowering people through education. You're working with agents. You're trying to encourage them and teach them. And I'm on board with that because our agents are the point that people are going to be going to. They know something is wrong.
It's like anything else. They're the future, and I get aggravated with all these, these guys, these young kids that are selling all these sales products. They've never sold anything in their life. The most they've ever done is work with one of those, what do they call it? The 3-letter companies where they get people in and trainings and ride in my Ferrari and go look at my 15,000 square foot house that only took me a week to get. Everybody knows that doesn't happen like that. But a young person, they get excited. And so I get aggravated with all these young gurus out there that really have never done anything. They've never been top of the table, $10 million a year for 25 straight years. They've never done what you've done since 1988.
That is work. That is work, Bill. But I embrace young people because they're excited, they're passionate, but they do have to be mentored, coached, and trained.
And you know what? We're coachable still, me and you.
I gotta be.
I have a mentor. You know what I mean? Here's what I want. We're at our half-hour point, so anybody's got to go. You got to go. But I wanted you to touch on a couple things before we finish, and we'll go an extra 15 tonight. And we're probably bring you back. I know you're going to do the educational summit, so that's going to be really cool. You'll get probably a lot more time there. But and I like teasing people. I don't like giving them everything at once, Michelle.
Right.
That's why you brought me on a couple times. Right? So what I want you to touch on, because here's where people get a little.
You rock my world, Bill.
Yeah.
You rocked my world. I've had on hundreds of people on that show over the years. The show's been out for 11 years. And you just, I'm like, boom.
We got fans, don't we? We got fans. Yeah. When you're bringing Liam back on. But hey, here's my thing. Here's what I want you to touch on, and then we're going to talk about some facts, and we're going to finish up with the final question. But here's what I want you to do. Because here's the thing that I think agents get a little leery of, right? Because they all know the process when you get your license, and it takes a little time, takes a little process. But when you're getting your certification and stuff, it's not that difficult. Tell them how simple it is to get certified. Now, I get it. It might take a little effort, but tell them what they need to do if they want to be certified to be able to present this.
If they want to get their certification, we are very blessed in the state of Ohio to have one of the founders of the entire long-term care industry, Ray Copenhaver, does classes. His offices are in Kettering. And I came up under Ray 12 years ago. He is an elderly man. He is extremely knowledgeable, and he is boots on the ground. And I would say it starts with a phone call to find out when you could get into their next class, so you can get that going. You have to be insurance licensed, of course. You have to have E&O insurance, of course. And then you take your class, and from there you can begin to look at what is available. Things have changed since Liam was doing it. Back then, we had many, many, many carriers, but so many of them got burnt and fried, and then they couldn't get underwriting to clear these people. So you're hanging on, dying on the vine, which is one of the things I tell all insurance agents. Do not just do long-term care. Continue to be active in all of the other insurance products and make your money and learn and make your money.
What if they're in a different state? They're not in Ohio now.
Doesn't matter. The requirements are national.
No. So what I'm saying is that, who would they call, like their local insurance commissioner,
they can,
or because you're national, so they could reach out to you and you could tell them maybe how.
I certainly can. I can tell them, but the key thing is that you do not ever, ever, ever. It's like I told you with the doctor in his medicine bag, and he's got everything in it. I mean, the reverse mortgage is a beautiful product, but we cannot be paid on the reverse mortgage. That is illegal. That's a government product. but it's an essential product as a part of your portfolio and a part of your planning. You got to know about all these things. You cannot be in the dark, or you cannot be flashing everywhere thinking that that's the way it works. The industry is ripe for change right now, and it needs young people right now who are aggressive, who are focused, who are intentional, who understand what risk looks like, and they're good to go. And I am
number one on that top of that list. You
yes.
got to be coachable. I mean, and I tell people, listen, you could be, we've both been top of the table. We've been we've had the red carpet, all that. But I remember in a young age, and people have heard my story, where when you first get into it, it's about pens and TV sets and winning trips. But then it doesn't take long. You start to realize this is a ministry. You start to realize that you're doing something for people's lives. You start to realize that handing a $500,000 check to a family of 4 instead of a $5,000 check means you a lot more special than a TV or a pen.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how you survive in this business. You don't do this business. And I get it. We all have to eat. And I get it. We all like the nice stuff that comes with this business, and you deserve that. I'm not saying that. But if that's your only reason for being here, you're not going to survive.
You're not going to make it, because let me tell you, when in my early years, when I came out of corporate America, where I was in mergers and acquisitions for a major player, I bought banks. Yes, I did. Billion-dollar transactions. I was one bad little cookie. But when you get out here in the real world, and I do mean the real world, where you're dealing with everything, trauma, families, everything, they're looking to you for wisdom and for guidance. They're not looking for you to rattle through like it's a textbook. These are humans. These are lives. These are families. And you are a critical and integral part of their life, whether you believe it or not.
And Michelle, you said something in the green room earlier, and I want to touch on this as well as we close out here. We got a couple more minutes. The thing that gets people to talk is what you talked about with me. Talk about the facts and the facts that they don't like. Talk about, if you tell people the truth, then they're going to, it creates discussion. Yes.
Yes. Well, I'm going to be on radio this Saturday morning on 1050 The Buzz for an hour and a half, talking about what are you going to do with mom? Because first in one of my segments, I talked about real estate, but now I'm going to take it right home. What are you going to do about mom? Because she's 80 years old and all indicators are in place. Dad may be there, he may be gone, but what are you going to do? And it's not a pretty thing. People don't want to talk about this stuff. They don't want to talk about aging. They don't want to talk about their mother looking like she's ready to die. And what are you going to do? And it's all kinds of emotions and trauma and everything. And you are the bridge to sanity. You are the one that can give them what they need, which is information and compassion, this is not easy. And no, I don't have any clean, crisp anything, because family is everywhere today, everywhere. But we bring tremendous power and value. And I'll say this till I'm dead. And I'll say this because the number of women, and then African American to boot, was non-existent when I started. But I saw what you saw, Bill, and that is the value of being that third person at the table, to give them a perspective of their lives and what they can do.
Well, and you've noticed that I don't have to announce that you're Black. People know that. And I had to announce that Kelly Roach was a woman. Everybody figured that out. They're going to know your brother's a powerful Black man.
Yes.
But if you watch what we're doing, we're including everybody, because we're all part of this together. And it doesn't. And when I talk to your brother on the phone, I said, listen, I don't care. I'm trying to do, and let's talk about what we talked about when I was in the long-term care business. I never forgot. Remember I told you the story where you always talk to them and they say, well, I just asked them a simple question. If you're looking for a close, this is a good close. I think Michelle would agree. I would say, listen, Michelle, if your husband got sick, would you spend every dime to make sure he didn't suffer and he lived in comfort and he would be fine? And you'd say, yes, I'd spend everything I've got. And I'd say, well,
Yeah.
Mr. Griggs, would you take care of Michelle? And you'd make sure, yeah, but if it were me, I'd just put me in a pine box. I don't care. But if it's her, I'm gonna spend everything I've got, sell my everything, and I'm gonna make sure she's okay. So both of them agreed that they would be desolate after the other one died from going in the nursing home. And I said, are you listening? Are you listening? You just said that you loved your wife, yet she's going to spend everything she's got and you're going to leave her broke.
Right.
You got to hit him in the chest. You got to tell
right.
And so now $300 a month don't sound so bad, does it?
$300 a month is like, take it and shut up.
Yeah.
Because that is your legacy of love. Nobody wants to read a fancy obituary or look at you at a nursing home, barely able to make it, driving all your family members crazy. That's not what we do. We bring value because we know the data. And the data is very, very specific. 1 in every 3 people is going to need this particular type of coverage. That's how serious it is.
And the biggest statistic that people aren't paying attention to, they're not making nursing homes anymore.
Oh, no, because they didn't make any money.
They're not making them anymore. So guess where they're going to stay? They're going to stay in your house, and you better have somebody to take care of them. And you better.
And that's what I tell people.
Absolutely.
Don't tell the children to get out the checkbook.
Absolutely.
Because if parents can't afford it, you pay for it.
Yep.
You do what is necessary to make sure mom and dad have a legacy of love.
Michelle, I'm going to tell you something that I know you know. One of my mom's medicines is $800 a month. One medicine. So add that to your little cost that we've got to come up with.
Yeah. And you know what? And I'm not telling you something you don't already know. The costs are going higher.
Oh, yeah.
They're going, I mean, the insulin that the little $35 that Joe got to help certain types of insulin, that insulin runs $1,200 a month. Who in the world can afford to be sick? But aging is what it is. And you are going, if you live in this country and you have not taken the necessary steps, children, grandchildren included, I don't care how many of you all got to put up pennies, but this is not an option. You need to plan for the inevitable.
GoFundMe is not an insurance policy. GoFundMe is not an insurance policy. Good luck with that, right?
Right. Look at the government.
Two points I want to finish with. One of them is the biggest complaint people get, and I get it. I've seen it. I haven't been in it in a while. You're in it every day. The biggest complaint I get is, why are they allowed to continue to jack up the premium every year? Has that been stifled any, or are they still allowed to do it? I know a lot of regulation has changed that some, but some companies have priced people out of being able to afford it. So how's that working now?
Well, I'll tell you, it depends who you're talking to. There are some companies that have been very, very conservative and consistent and have not had major price increases. They have not. There have been some that have just been horrible. And then there are some that have just simply bailed out. The number of carriers that are no longer doing long-term care is through the roof. They couldn't make any money because people used the policy. Used it. And they were like, wait a minute, we priced this with X number of people coming out, not staying in. And people are, that's the plan. They're never going to, you don't have to worry about them canceling that insurance because they know that they're going to need it. So I thank you for the opportunity. I'm looking at the time.
Well, I'm going to give you one last thing. I'm going to give you one last thing to finish with, because I want to make sure we cover everything we wanted to try to cover tonight. So what I want you to finish with is tell people this in a simple way, what is long-term care and what is not?
No problem. Long-term care is also known as custodial care, and it takes care of you where health insurance stops. It's not health insurance. It is actually custodial care. And you have to meet 2 out of the 6 activities of daily living, which you'll learn about, including bathing, dressing, eating, toileting, transferring, and maintaining continence, or if you have cognitive impairment that requires supervision. That is long-term care. What's the beginning and the end? Who knows? A person can be in a facility for years with Alzheimer's, period. I mean, 20 years, truth. And then they will ultimately die from something that triggered the heart to stop beating. If the brain doesn't tell the heart to beat, it won't.
Yep.
So many of them die from heart attacks. But then you have chronic conditions as well that do impact on their ability to do certain things. And I must close with this because if you think that cleaning an adult, cleaning them, changing them is a wonderful avocation, you are wrong. They are not babies. They are big people. And depending upon their mood and what's going on, here we are. So I don't want to be this callous, but I do want to put it right in your face because I'm looking at it myself, right? And I do have long-term care. Oh my goodness. Yes, I do. Why? Well, why do you think? I don't want anybody having to take care of me like that.
Well, Michelle, before we go, and I'm gonna let you say goodbye. So when I get done with my piece, I'm gonna throw it to you. You say goodbye any way you want. But I want to share something that really breaks my heart, and it brings this home. My mom sat me down the other day. She had tears coming down her face.
Whew.
And we were gonna just got somebody coming in twice a week to give her a bath.
Yeah.
And she said to me, she said, Billy, she goes, I had an accident in the shower. She goes, I've never been so embarrassed in my life.
I know.
And I'm telling you, it hurt my heart, you know. But I couldn't imagine if I didn't have somebody, and I had to do that. So
you can't take care. You can't give your mother bath.
Everybody can, you know. This is why this is real. What we do every day, and I want
Yes.
people. That's why I tell people get your agents and agencies to join this thing. We are real people. We're trying to get you to understand how important what we do is. You know, we're important people. And as you finish and say goodbye, I know we met, and it took a long time because you're busy, I'm busy, and we finally connected. And we know it's a God thing. And I just want people to know that you're a real deal, and I'm blessed to be your friend. But I just wanted to share that because that kind of hits home with what this is all about. Yes?
I'm telling you summarily, you better buy insurance on your parents. If they can't afford it, you better eat hot dogs and pay the premium. Okay? If you have large cases, move the money. Okay, just take advantage of the rules and get information, get education, and just remember that long-term care is the legacy of love. If you really love your parents, if you really love yourself, your wife or significant other, you will do this, and you will do this without a blink. Because the government is not going to do it for you. You must do it for yourself. And we do have options. I am available. Leon will tell you, Michelle's easy. I tell that all the time. After years of going crazy in corporate and dealing with people, I am not going to go crazy now. We're going to have some legitimate, comfortable conversations, and we're going to get it done. And we're going to be a blessing to the people that we have been sent to help, and we will do that. Okay, so thank you all for listening, and I hope you've learned a few things, a little bit.
You will come back, yes?
I'll come back. Come on. Of course I'll come back.
Well, we will see you next time, and I can't wait for the summit. That's going to be awesome.
Oh, you are just over the top. I'm just beyond blessed. I'm grateful, and thank you so much, Bill, for having me on.
Thank you, sweetheart. We'll see you next time. Go ahead,
Thank
Heather.
you so
Say good
much.
night.
Good night.
This Thursday, don't miss the Oz of Indexing, Alan Grissom. Joining our panel with Liam, Joe Clark, and Jim Manuel. Alan is the designer of the S&P 500 IQ Index specifically for fixed-indexed annuities to unlock the power of the S&P 500 within those products and help Main Street even the playing field.